Hey everyone! Today we're going to talk about arrays. Arrays help us learn what multiplication is, or repeated addition sentences. So we're going to learn a little bit about multiplication the first day, and how to write a multiplication sentence. So let's take a look at the array we have here on the board. An array looks like almost a rectangle made up of the same shape. So right here, let's draw a box around it. I have 6 dots. Now I'm going to I want to answer these questions. So how many rows? Now in case you don't know what a row goes in this direction. So how many arrows in that direction would we have? We have this row, that's 1, and another one right underneath. So we have 2 rows, okay? And columns go up and down. If I look at the word column, and then look what I can do to the L. I can make it look like a down arrow. And that tells me what a column is. It's how many times I go down. So, how many columns do I have? 1, 2, 3. I have 3 columns, okay? So now it wants me to write a repeated addition sentence. Repeated addition sentence means how many times we're adding something. So we have 2 sentences we can actually write. I'm going to make 2 lines here. My first sentence would be adding based on the columns. I have 2 in this column, plus 2 in this column, and 2 more in this last column. And how many does that equal? 2 plus 2 plus 2. So that's 2 plus 2 is 4, and 2 more makes 6. How many dots we have? We can also write a sentence based on our rows. How many dots do we have in this row? 3. How many dots do we have in this row? 3. So when I add those 2 rows up, I also get 6. So there are 2 ways we can write our repeated addition sentence. Our multiplication sentence is really writing the amount of rows we have times the amount of columns, or how many times we're adding. So if we take a look here, how many 2's did we have? 1, 2, 3. We had 3 2's, and that made 6. Or we can write this as, how many 3's did we have? We had 2 3's, and that made 6. So we also have 2 ways we can write our multiplication sentence. If you write any of those, you're correct. But you don't have to write all of them. You only have to come up with 1 for each. I'm going to write down both of them, just so that way you can make sure you got your answer correct. Okay? So I walked you through this one. If you want to get started on the next one, you can while I erase. So for the next problem, though, this one was a little trickier. Not because it's any harder, but because I kind of tried to trick you with only one. With only one what? Is it a row or is it a column? Okay? We have only 1 row. We actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So how many rows do we have? How many times are we going in that direction? 1. How many columns do we have? How many times are we going down? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're going to make our repeated addition sentence. Well, we're not really doing any addition if we just say 4. 4 equals 4, right? That's not an addition sentence. But how can we write it? We can write our columns. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. So this one's not really wrong, but it's not the best answer to write. Now, for a multiplication sentence, what do we do? Well, we can look at the first one and write 4. How many 4's do we have on that side of our equation? Only one of them. 4 times 1, and that was 4. Or many times did we put the number 1? 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see the pattern here? Do you see that 4 times 1 is 4 and 1 times 4 is 4? Also, it's also these numbers, how many rows and how many columns. So I'm using this 1 or this 1, I'm using this 4 or here, and I'm always going to use the same numbers. And this side right here is how many dots we have, or how many things are in our array. Let's do the next one. Okay. Whoops, left that there. So now we have 2, 2. Okay. So, can everyone agree how many dots we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know at the end of our sentences, the answer is 6 for all of our sentences, because that just tells me how many dots we have. Let's do everything else now. How many rows do we have? 1, 2, 3 rows. How many columns do we have? How many lines are going down? 1, 2. 2 columns. So, let's write our repeated addition sentence. How many 3s would we have? We have 1 column of 3s or another column of 3, because 3 and 3 make 6. How about going the other way? How many 2s? I have 1 set of 2s, another set of 2, and my last set of 2. So I can keep adding 2 plus 2 plus 2, and that makes 6. So I can have my repeated addition sentence go 3 plus 3 equals 6, or 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. So now it's time for the multiplication sentence. Now, let's say this is a little confusing for you, okay? Let's ignore this for a second. Let's pretend this wasn't here. I can just take these numbers. 3 times 2 or 2 times 3. Because it's how many are in each row or each column. And that's all you need to do, okay? Last one. We're gonna go a little faster, just a little bit. But there's a lot more dots here, so I'm gonna have to start moving these. If you were counting as I was going along, you would know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dots. So the end of every sentence is 10. It doesn't matter if it's multiplication or addition. That's it. Let's count our rows. How many rows do we have? How many acrosses do we have? We have 2. That's right. How about up and downs? How many up and downs do we have? Let's draw little boxes. I have 1 box of up and down, 2 boxes, 3, 4, 5. You know what I find funny? I think it's easier to write my multiplication sentence than it is my repeated addition. So I'm going to write that first. I know that 5 times 2, 5 and 2 make 10, or 2 and 5 make 10. That's it for my multiplication sentence. But for my addition sentence, my repeated addition, I can add 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. How many 2's did I have here? 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I could have had, let's make my boxes the other way, 1 box of 5 plus another box of 5. So those are my 2 repeated addition sentences. Now, this might seem like there's no reason to do this, but the whole reason we're doing this is that way you can understand what these 2 have in common, my repeated addition sentence and my multiplication sentence. Also, you can see that to count what 2 times 5 is, or 5 times 2, It's just counting your dots. I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you do your independent work for practice, okay? And if you didn't print it yet, you can see the links in the description. Bye.